Spider-Man has had 3 actors, 3 different timelines, over 20 years of movies. And through all of that, one thing has stayed exactly the same. The villains are better written than he is. That's not an insult to Peter Parker, it's just true. And by the end of this video, I think you'll agree. Here's the argument in one sentence. Every great Spider-Man movie is remembered for its villain first, its hero second. Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Vulture, Mysterio. Say any of those names and you picture a specific performance, a specific scene, a specific line. Now try to do the same thing with Peter Parker across 3 different actors. It gets blurry fast. That's not an accident. That's a pattern. Let's go through it. Start with Michael Keaton's Vulture in Homecoming. What makes him work isn't the wings or the tech. It's that he's not wrong about anything. He's a guy the system screwed over, doing dangerous, illegal work to provide for his family, and the movie never fully lets you hate him for that. Then, the script does something most superhero movies are too scared to do. It makes him Peter's girlfriend's father, calmly threatening to kill him if he interferes, without ever raising his voice. Compare that scene's tension to literally anything Peter does in that same movie. Peter's arc is, I want to prove I'm ready. Toombs' arc is a fully realized moral position. One of those is a character, the other is a plot function. Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio in Far From Home is maybe the clearest proof of this entire argument. His whole gimmick is that he understands exactly what Peter needs emotionally, a mentor to replace Tony Stark, and manufactures a fake version of it just to manipulate him. That's not just a good villain plan. That's a villain who understands the hero's internal arc better than the writers seem to, and weaponizes it directly. Mysterio isn't reacting to Peter's story. He's authoring it for 3/4 of a movie. And the tragedy is what happens after. Mysterio's final act, framing Spider-Man for his own murder, doesn't just end the movie. It reshapes the entire next film, and public opinion of Peter with it. A villain's decision drives the plot of not 1, but 2 subsequent films. Peter, in that stretch, is mostly reacting. No Way Home is really where this argument becomes undeniable, because the movie itself seems to know it. The plot's entire engine, the reason any of this happens, is Peter trying to protect himself from villains, not villains reacting to Peter. And then Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin walks in and without changing costumes or gimmicks delivers a performance so sharp it makes every other character in the scene look underwritten by comparison. One conversation. You know, I'm something of a scientist myself. And he's more memorable than most of Peter's dialogue across 3 films combined. Even the film's own critics agree the villain lineup, Doc Ock, Goblin, Electro, Sandman, carries the back half of the movie, while the actual hero's decisions in the first half, fighting Doctor Strange over a magic cube instead of just talking, are some of the weakest writing in the whole trilogy. That's the pattern holding. When the movie needs to be smart, it hands the scene to a villain. Here's my actual theory on why this isn't a coincidence. Spider-Man, as a character, has to stay likable, moral, and relatively simple. He's the audience surrogate, the regular guy anchor of the story. That's the job. Villains don't have that job. Writers get to make them contradictory, wrong, sympathetic, terrifying, funny, all at once. Because nothing about a villain needs to stay safe for a mass audience the way the hero does. Which means, structurally, the villain role is where the actual interesting writing happens almost every single time. Peter's job is to be relatable. The villain's job is to be a character. Those aren't the same task, and one of them is just more fun to write. So here's the real question heading into the next film. If Sony and Marvel actually want people talking about Brand New Day the way they talked about No Way Home, the villain isn't the side ingredient, it's the deciding factor. History says the hero alone won't carry it. So, am I wrong? Is there a Spider-Man villain you think doesn't hold up to this argument? Or a version of Peter you think actually outshines them? Tell me below. Genuinely want to see if anyone can make the case.